So, why is it that people seem to move into mass hysteria and panic over situations and events that they have no control over, that they have no say in how it happens and what happens? And here's the thing, we're a bit hardwired in our brain and what happens. And so we have this confirmation bias, both on a positive and negative side. So, on the negative side, we tend to over escalate the things that we do not have control over. We tend to not over escalate, well, that leads to the fear of over escalating, but we tend to see them as more negative than they actually are, which creates more fear, which creates a reactive situation. And then when we look at things that we deem to be in our control, so maybe our business, our ability to lose weight, our ability to find the ideal partner, all of those things, we tend to see them as more positive, more likely as happening. This is why, every new year, everybody's like, this year is going to be epic, right? Because it's something that feels like it's in our control. So we have a more positive outlook on it. So when it comes to world events like what's happening right now with the coronavirus, is that people feel completely out of control with it. And that triggers a negative viewpoint of it, a negative viewpoint on what's going to happen and how it's going to play out in the world. And then, of course, that ramps up all the fear, all of our inner angst. And of course, what happens when we have fear is that we move into reactive instead of action. So our primal brains, we're wired for this. We have to overcome our wiring, but we're wired to react because back in our caveman days, when we were potentially being eaten by tigers, we had to run. And you didn't have time to think about whether you needed to run. You just had to run. So here's what's set up is this instinctive situation where we need to take action. However, the reality is that most of us, we live lives in which our action consists of typing some things on a keyboard, hitting enter, maybe hitting share, but that doesn't burn off of the adrenaline that was pumping through your system. So we have this situation where we are physiologically being affected by what's going on. We're not burning that off. And we have our negative confirmation bias, which makes us, react to things, see it more negative, feel more fear. All right, now here's the good news. Let's talk about how do we get out of this. And it's going to take some training on your part. You're going to have to make a decision to choose to get out of this loop of fear. And what it's going to take is if you put the habit in place that no matter what you are doing, no matter what you are working with, you pause and you breathe. Deep breaths. Okay, because what that's going to do is it's going to just help to bring the nervous system down. It's going to help to calm everything down. It also helps to get some more oxygen into the brain, which allows you to think a little better. But that space, that ability to calm yourself a little bit, get out of the reactive state of fear, gives you that bandwidth. Because the more emotionally reactive you are, the less cognitive processing you have. So we want to bring that down so that we can bring this up and we can start to think about what are our actions? What is the course of action? And so maybe instead of running out and buying 6 months worth of toilet paper, you buy one package, right? To actually stop and think and feel at ease with what is going on, being able to roll with it, seeing the situation for what it really is while still taking action. So that is your piece for today. I'd really like you to focus in on breathing, taking a pause before hitting any kind of action, whether you're hitting send on an email, share in a social media post, or before you go into any kind of reactive state with anybody else. Breathe, think about it. That's the key. All right, have fun with that. Let me know how that goes. Hit me up with some comments, hit me up with some shares. Love you all.